Welcome to the Community Buzz, brought to you by North Century Pharmacy. Stop by NCP to see Easton Bryant and his super friendly staff. That's North Century Pharmacy, bringing you the Community Buzz here in Hot Country 93.5 WAIN. Austin Armstrong joined along a very special guest today. That is head coach of the men's basketball team at Lindsey Wilson College, Coach Chris Starks. Coach, how are you doing today?
Doing great today.
And we were talking a little bit before we got on here. Before we talk any further into what we're going to talk about today, which a little teaser, basketball camp coming up, and a very exciting basketball camp. Just want to tell the people about yourself, your experience at Lindsey Wilson, maybe some coaching that you've done before. Just kind of let them know who you are and where you've been, because like we said, you've been doing it for a while, haven't you?
Yeah, I've this was actually my 20th year here at Lindsey Wilson College, and the first 17 years was an assistant with Coach Paul Peck, and the last 3 years have been as the head coach. Started my career, I'm originally from Kansas, and started my career at a junior college there, and then moved to Middle Tennessee State University, where Coach Peck was an assistant also. So Coach Peck and I were assistants together for several years, and we've worked together for several years. But been here the last 20 years, like I said. Raised our children here. Lindsey Wilson's been a big part of my life.
It has, and it's a great part of the life to have. I'm also a Lindsey Wilson alumni and spent a good portion of time there, and still spend a lot of time there working through the radio station. So it's a fantastic college. And one of the things I love about Lindsey Wilson College is how much Lindsey Wilson College always gives back to the community.
Definitely.
And what we're going to talk about is one of those things that you all kind of are giving back to the community, and that is the 2023 Summer Blue Raider Basketball Camp that is going on. I believe this is the 19th annual one. Is that what I've seen?
Yeah, we missed a year because of COVID.
Yeah, the dreaded C word.
Yeah, definitely. But this is one of the things that's kind of been near and dear to my heart. Giving an opportunity for kids to come out and learn the game of basketball. We run it kind of like, a camp back when I was a kid. We do a lot of drill work. We do a lot of station work. Really work on the fundamentals, what's important to the game. And then in the afternoons we play, some competitive games and try to tie everything in that we worked in the morning into that. But like I said, this camp is special to me. I feel I've been here for 20 years. I feel like I've been invested in the community, and I've seen all these kids that have been through our camp grow up and then get to see them in high school and then get to move on, and that's always been fun, and it's been special, and it's a good week for me, to get out of the same old routine of recruiting and dealing with our kids. But it's just a lot of fun to work with these young kids.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That 2023 Summer Basketball Camp taking place June 5th through the 8th. If anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, they can always give you a call. That's always the great part, because you are that heavily involved with the camp. Your number, 384-8513, or they can always email you at starks@lindsey.edu, or they can always visit the Lindsey Wilson website as well. I've seen the application on there. And I want to touch on something that you talked about there, how the format of the camp, it's old school, and I love it, because those are my favorite ones. I'm a strong believer in fundamentals are the foundation of any athletic sporting event, basically, and every athlete needs to have those fundamentals because they are just that important. You have some people who are super athletic and kind of struggle in the fundamental department, and then you have people who are really strong in the fundamental department and might not be the most athletic, but yet they still compete at those high levels or with those other athletes because of that. They have a strong base. I would kind of consider myself one of those athletes where I was never the biggest, the tallest, the strongest, but I made sure that I knew the fundamentals of whatever athletic event I was participating in, so that way at least you have a baseline and you can run off of that. So I love the format of the camp. You talk about doing position work and stuff like that. You want to kind of elaborate on that and tell the people what it's going to be, what it's going to kind of look like, maybe some of the drills that you all do.
Just when the kid arrives every morning, we'll get ready, and we'll talk about the importance of stretching and getting your body prepared to go through, especially a camp that's 7 or 8 hours long each day. They'll be pretty sore that first night, and they'll go to bed early. That's one of the reasons why the parents love this camp so much.
Yeah, for sure.
But we'll break up into we have age divisions or squads. I have squads of the second and third graders together, fourth, fifth, and just so it's competitive with each other. But we'll really focus in on just dribbling skills. I mean, I tell my guys. I mean, if you can't pass it, if you can't catch it, you can't shoot it.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you can't do those three things, you can't play basketball.
Yeah, exactly.
So we really, I mean, we break it down. Even the older kids, they look bored. But it's important.
It is.
Because I mean, the fundamentals just aren't being taught like they used to be.
Yeah.
But we'll break that down. The dribbling and passing. We'll work on actual shooting fundamentals and break that down.
Yeah.
So that's what most of the drills are instilled of, and then we'll have rebounding drills and talk about the importance of boxing out and things of that nature, and then we'll defensively we focus in on defensive fundamentals just in terms of break it down to the stance.
Yeah.
How to guard one-on-one, and then we'll have team defensive. Squat drills also.
Yeah.
But we try to hit on every facet of the game, and just to kind of give especially for the beginners.
Yeah.
Just like you said, a foundation for them to get started.
Yeah, and kind of what you talked about there. Sometimes the older kids, they can kind of look a little bored.
Yeah.
But you're right. This is something even important for the older kids. So if you're hearing this and you're thinking, well, my kid is a ninth grader, because you do take boys and girls entering second all the way to ninth grade.
Right.
So if you're like, well, my child's a ninth grader, I don't really know if he needs it. He or she does. I promise
definitely.
you. Whether it's a refresher or whatever it is, it's always good, like I said, to go back to your fundamentals, your roots. You always hear that, especially in Kentucky. Don't forget your roots.
Yeah.
That should be part of your athletic journey as well. Don't forget those roots. Don't forget the basics of one-on-one guarding. Don't forget the basics of a layup. Don't forget the basics of shooting. Those are the most important part. So if you're thinking, well, I mean, ninth grade, my kid's, he might not need. He or she does, I promise you. It helps. It's always great to have that refresher. And like I said, this camp is for boys and girls entering second all the way to ninth grade, so you have a wide span there, which is also great for those athletes I see, because you get to see a bunch of different skill sets. So whether you're younger, you get to see a bunch of older skill sets, or if you're older, you get to just see other people's skill sets, which is always great as well, because sometimes the monotony of the small town USA, you kind of see the same gameplay over and over from the same kids that you've been playing with since you were 6 years old. So it's good to see those other people and other athletes, and that's why camps are super important for people who don't really understand, because it opens up a whole nother world of the game basically to these kids. So June 5th through the 8th for boys and girls entering 2nd through 9th grade. Daily instruction time. This is my favorite part. 8:30 a.m. till 4 p.m. Like you said, a very long day. But that's good for them, and it's good for the parents too, because they get, like you said, they're usually tired by the time you send them home. But that lengthy practice time, that's really, really great for them, because you all have plenty of time to kind of walk through everything that you all need during those days and during all that time. But sometimes those camps of 1 hour, 2 hours, it's just never enough between the talking, the teaching, the hands-on, and all that. It's tough. So these type of camps, my favorite type.
Mine too. I mean, I've seen camps ran all across the country, the half-day camps or morning camps, and to have our hands on them for almost 40 hours in a week is good. It immerses them in every facet of the game. But we don't have kids just from Madera County. I mean, Greene County comes, Russell County, Casey County. I mean, we've got kids from Clinton County. So all over. So the kids get to meet, a lot of different kinds of kids that they haven't ran into before, but they'll see them down the road, especially when they get into high school, and they'll remember each other, and they've been competing against each other for quite some time.
And that was always my favorite part of athletics, was meeting kids from different counties, maybe at a camp or maybe at a one-day camp or a week-long camp, whatever it was, and then you go into the regular season and you're just sitting there warming up, and you look over and you're like, is that Brian from Owen County? And it's like, that is Brian from Owen County, and it's always good. And like we said before, it's good because your child gets to see all those different skill sets that someone else possesses, because they might not play basketball the same as they do in Taylor County compared to Dare County, or Dare County to Russell or Clinton. And that's the truth, because not every county or not every player is going to play the same. So it's always good to kind of, that box of chocolates and check out the variety of it. So the camp costs $100 per player. You all do have some sign-ups. That is, return it with a $25 non-refundable deposit by June 1st.
Yeah, but I'm pretty lenient on that.
I was going to say
it's nice to have a feel of how many kids are coming. But to date, right now, we've got 80 kids signed up.
Awesome. That's cool.
Last year was our first year coming back off of COVID, and we had 140 campers last year.
Yeah,
and it was unbelievable. I mean, that first day, we'll take walk-ups, but even if you just text me or email me and tell me your kid's coming, just so I can account for them.
Yeah.
You can settle up the day at camp. Walk-ups are welcome.
Awesome.
It's good. And, our camp counselors, the coaches, they're our players.
Yeah.
Our coaches. So usually there's 10 to 12 squads, and we've got 6 or 7 players on campus this summer.
Awesome.
So your kids will be able to, look up and see these guys play and see what they've done, their youth and working up to, where they're at in college, and it's a great fun week.
And these athletes at Lindsey Wilson College, I've always stood behind the athletes at Lindsey Wilson College, because I've always had this notion that athletes at Lindsey Wilson College, they really want to be there. We really want to be there, and the athletes you have at Lindsey Wilson College, when I was there, they recruited hard-nosed kids that wanted to be there, and it's still the same. That doesn't change. So these kids that the campers are going to get to look up to and learn from, these kids didn't end up there by mistake. These are some great athletes that are going to be teaching your kids, that have some great skill sets that your kids could really benefit off of. And another thing, outside of skill sets or being taught things, one thing I did see was going to be guest speakers. I love that as well, because there is a lot more to athleticism than knowing the fundamentals or being big, strong, tall, or knowing advanced fundamentals. It's mental warfare, and that's just being able to have your mind in the right place, whether that's holding yourself accountable to get up for those 5 a.m. practices, just knowing that, hey, I lost a big game. That's okay. Time to bounce back. How can I stand back up? And I'm sure these guest speakers are going to talk about situations like that, or kind of have things like that. So that's really cool. Can you release any of the names of the people you're going to have speaking, or are we going to leave that as a cliffhanger and they're just going to have to wait until camp time?
Some of them are like former players, and especially former Dare County Indians.
Like
Caitlin Kimberlin, Kel Stotts. Wes Irvin even comes. It'll be a wide variety of people.
Awesome.
I'm working on one special guest that I'm not going to say until he gets there, but all the kids will recognize him, and it could be a special day.
Yeah. And another part is I've seen the ratio that you all put in your all's brochure, 10-1.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Seriously, that really is. And it's kind of the same concept at Lindsey, where, it is a smaller school. So even in the classrooms, it's kind of like that. And it's great to have that on the athletic side as well, where, you're not outnumbering the coaches way too much. Because I have been to camps where it's pretty tough, and it's, 40, 50 campers to one coach, and you're standing there in a giant huddle, and you're trying to listen, and it gets kind of hard because you might get distracted, because at the end of the day, they are kids. They like to chit chat.
We're going to lose them if there's that many kids.
Exactly. So it's always awesome to have such a great ratio, and you all do a great job at that, because you'll have so many people who volunteer and invest their time into these camps to give back to these kids. And I would argue to say that most of those people that give back are players that have learned from you, or like you said, former players who have learned from you and are just trying to give back to the community. So that's always awesome to have that great player to coach ratio, and you all definitely have that over there. The other part I want to talk about is 3-on-3s and 5-on-5s. I love inter-squad competition because I'm an athlete. I love competition. These kids are athletes. They love competition. It's fun to sit there for 6, 7, 8 hours a day and learn all these valuable skill sets. But at the end of the day, boy, are we all just itching to get out there.
It's their favorite part of the day, because they just love to compete and play those games, especially after working so hard all morning, and just because all it is repetition. And at the end of the day, if you're going to get good at something, whether it's basketball, whether it's golf, or whether it's just anything. It's all about repetition, and that's what you got to do to get good. And it's tough and it's long, and you hear pro athletes, talking about, how they work on their game. 7-8 hours a day. There's a reason why they're so good. There's a reason why they're getting paid millions of dollars, because that's all they do all day.
Exactly.
And so it's all about repetition.
For sure. I'm joined with head coach of men's basketball at Lindsey Wilson College, Coach Starks. We are talking about the 2023 Blue Raider basketball camp, the 19th annual one going on this year. That is going to take place from June 5th through the 8th for boys and girls entering 2nd to 9th grade. It's going to take place from 8:30 a.m. till 4 p.m. each day from June 5th till 8th. Still plenty of time to sign up, and if they are interested and getting a hold of you, they can always email or call you. You want to give out those numbers and emails?
Yeah, my office phone is 270-384-8513. Email is starkc@lindsey.edu. It's on our website at www.lindseyathletics.com. And, you can catch, even on my Facebook, social media, everywhere. I've got an application on there. But all you need to do, since it is a week from Monday, probably not mail it in. Just give me a call, say, hey, my kid's going to be there. We'll settle up the day at camp during registration. It takes a little bit of time to get things going and get things organized. But, that's the best way to go about signing up. But love to have your child. I love this. Like I said earlier, this camp is, dear to my heart. I love this week. And working with the kids. With the game of basketball, so
for sure. And anything else you want to add before we wrap this one up? Anything you want to tell the parents? Any final details? Anything like that you can think
of? Your child. You can bring your kid each day. Most parents work. You can drop them off as early as 8 o'clock. We break for lunch around 11:30. Usually we've got a camp store. And each child has a bank, so they can just deposit money, so they're not carrying money every day.
That's awesome.
And if they need a water, if they need a Gatorade, or if they need a snack, they just come up, grab it. We deduct it out of their bank, and at the end of the week, whatever money's left over, we'll return to your child. We usually bring in pizza, for lunch and sell it $1 a slice, and then at the end of the week on Thursday, we take them to the cafeteria.
Awesome.
And feed them in the cafeteria. So that's always a melee. But it's fun. The kids enjoy it, and it's a good way to wrap up the week.
Fantastic.
And then at the end of the week, we'll wrap it up with an award ceremony. And everyone will get a camp certificate. We've got, we call it, each squad has an MVP. We'll have an all camp MVP. Just have some special awards, free throw champion. We have a skills challenge, and we'll have a skills champion.
Oh, that's cool.
Out of each squad, and 3-point champion,
awesome.
Mr. Hustle.
We
have a most improved camper award, so it's kind of neat at the end. To give out those awards, and the parents are welcome to come to it and partake. But
awesome.
It's a great, fun week. Your kids will be tired. They'll go to bed early. But it's just a good week to break the monotony and start out the summer with a good week of camp.
Awesome. Fantastic. Again, that was head basketball coach of the men's basketball team at Lindsey Wilson College, Coach Chris Starks, and the 2023 summer basketball camp taking place June 5th through the 8th. Still plenty of time to get signed up for that. Again, you can call Coach at 270-384-8513 or email him at starksc@lindsey.edu. Coach, I truly do appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to join me, and best of luck to you taking care of the 100-plus kiddos and teaching them the fundamentals.
I appreciate it, Austin.
Not a problem, brother. That was the Community Buzz, brought to you by North Century Pharmacy. Stop by NCP to see Easton Bryan and his super friendly staff today. That's North Century Pharmacy. And I'm Austin Armstrong reporting for 93.5 WAIN.